This is Ginny from Homestead Corner, and today I am going to harvest a few of our onions. A lot of them have the tops bent over. You can see in here. And once the onion does this, once that top flops over, you're going to notice the tips are starting to get kind of yellowish and not so attractive. So they're not going to grow anymore. So you don't want to leave them in the ground too long, because they can get bacteria in them and the bugs can start eating them and it can cause all kinds of problems. So these have been starting to fall over for a little more than a week. So I thought I would get out here and get these pulled and get them start drying. So I'm going to leave the ones that are still standing up. You can see there are a few that they're still going, and we're going to let them grow as much as they want, because there's still plenty of time left in the growing season. But I don't want to lose my onion crop because these look to have done quite well. So we're going to pull some of these out. Let me show you how we do this. It's really simple. These ones that are down, we're just going to grab the top because they're pretty much sticking out and they're pretty loose. But you just kind of pull those out and you have got a yummy onion. So onions can be used right now as soon as you pull it out of the ground, or you can cure it and dry out the outside so it is ready to store for the winter. And we store our onions every year, and we usually run out in February or March because we never ever have enough. We just love onions. But I would dare say they will last way longer than that even. But we're going to start pulling some of these onions, and I've got a couple of flats over here, and we'll just start putting them in the flats, and we're going to bring them over to the back porch once we get them pulled. So again, all you're going to do is grab it right by the top of the neck, right down here, and just pull. This is a little onion, but still delicious. So we just want to pull these ones that are falling over. You don't want to pull the ones that are still standing up. If you want to harvest them all at once, you can knock the tops down, kind of bend them over. If you just grab them right there and kind of snap it down, you can do that, but it's not a big deal for me to dry onions at different times. So I usually do the first set that falls down on its own, let the rest go, and then I'll do the rest of them all at once. When I notice the last ones start falling over, I will knock the rest of them down so I can do them all in one shot. So I'll bring you back once we get these all pulled out of the garden. All my onions pulled for today that I'm going to pull. The other ones are not that far off from being done. I'm going to leave them in the ground for a couple more days, and I think I'm going to pull these in a few days to just make some onion soup. So I don't really need to knock these down. So because you can pull an onion and use it today. You don't have to dry it out and store it for a long time before you use it. You can pull it right out of the ground and use it today. So I'm going to leave these in, and then when I'm ready to make my French onion soup, I think I'm going to pull them in a couple of days. And I think there's about enough left for that. So let's go over to the back porch and get these ready to start drying. On the back porch, and I have got all my onions pulled. So what we're going to do now is we just want to knock some of this dirt off, because some of them are pretty dirty. We don't really want to pull too much skin off, but you don't really want to do that. But we're gonna cut our tops about right there, right about where that joint is. If you can see it, right about where all the leaves are coming out. Right about there, we're going to cut our tops off like that. And then we're going to we're going to set this out to dry. Just like that. And then once they start drying, you'll be able to get the rest of that dirt off, and you'll peel the outside skin off so it's ready to be stored, however you want to store them. So I just like to, again, right up here where they start coming, I just cut all these tops off. And then those are great for compost. we throw them right in the compost pile. Just kind of get some of the chunks of dirt off this. And we're going to leave these right out here on the back porch, actually, for about a week. And then they should be dry. It depends on your weather. If you have a really humid, sticky weather, then they're going to take a little bit longer to cure up and be ready for storage. But if you've got some nice dry weather, these can really, as long as they got good ventilation, these can be done in just a couple of days. So it really depends on how your weather is. And you just want to make sure that you've got really, really good ventilation, which is why I like to use the back porch. It's got a roof on it, so we don't have to worry about the dew. It's not going to get rained on. If it does rain and it's going to be super humid, then what I'm going to do is just come out and throw a blanket over these, just to kind of keep some of that wetness off them. We want to get them dry, so we don't want them to be really, really wet. And you probably want to do this outside because this is super messy. If you do this in your kitchen, you're going to be cleaning up for hours and hours and hours, and it's crazy. So we're just getting these tops off and knocking the bulk of the dirt off them. And it's okay if there's a little bit of dirt on them. It's going to dry, and it'll be much easier to get off then. And some of these are kind of wet. You really want to get them drying. You don't want to get any mold on them or have any trouble with them. You want them to last all winter. And we have been very lucky. We usually run out of onions around February or March. And I've never had a problem with them. They always last that long. It's just that I run out of onions. So, and you want these in a nice layer, single layer like that. You don't get, so they can get plenty of air. The air circulation really is the key to getting these dried up and cured for storage. We've got our onions all cut to the length that I wanted them. You can cut them a little bit shorter if you're going to store them in flats or whatever in the pantry. But I really wanted to, I'm going to braid these this year and, well, tie them up on string to hang them in the pantry so they take up less space. I can just hang them on the side. So I'm going to leave these, I leave these a little bit longer just so I can do that. But this is all there is to it. And you're just going to let these sit out and dry. And once they're dry, you'll be able to tell they'll be kind of brown. The skin will turn kind of brown and get all papery, just like the stuff you get in the store. And but while you're trimming up your garlic, I pulled a few of these out. This one's got kind of some soft spots here that I'm not really in love with. So I pulled this one out and I cut it a little shorter. I'm just going to bring this in the house. We're going to use it right away. And also the ones that go to flower, if they've got these flowering tops on them, they're going to have a really thick, hard stem here. And this does not dry well. So this can cause mold and stuff in your storage. So I don't store these either. This is another one that is going right into the house and is going to get used right away. So anything with any spots or anything like that. This one's got a couple of layers that's kind of smushy right here. So I'm just going to pull these, and you only want to leave your really good onions, your best ones, to dry. It's so, because if there are any issues, it can contaminate your other onions, and you don't want to ruin your whole crop. So these hard stems are, you just want to use those right away. So I just had a few that I'm not going to be, let's see, I don't know if you can see them in here, maybe 8 or 9 that have to be used up right away, but the rest are really good. And we're gonna let those dry, and as soon as they're brown and papery, and you can knock the rest of the dirt off, trim your You're going to trim your roots, and then you can store them however you want to store them once they're nice and dry on the outside. You want to get them all cleaned up. You don't want to store them with dirt on them. Once they're dried, you can get that all fixed up. So that is it for harvesting and getting your onions ready to dry. That's all you have to do. It's really simple. It's really messy, so I recommend doing this outside, which is where I do it. And I have done it in the kitchen before, and wowza, you know it. So, excuse me. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.